we've all been told, right, that we're going to starve Vladimir Putin. That's how we're going to end this whole conflict, is because by now, the United States coming forward, President Biden coming out and announcing that we are going to ban our importation of foreign Russian oil, that this is going to starve the regime. Basically lying to the American people straight to their faces about what is actually going to unfold. Russia will be fine. Russia is going to be fine. They are not reliant on the United States to sustain themselves. They have plenty of other oil contracts from Turkey to India to China. It doesn't matter. The United States importing this oil is not going to starve them. Yet that's the way that President Biden played it yesterday, to make us all believe that we have to pay more for gas because we're doing our patriotic duty.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. It's simply not true that my administration or policies are holding back domestic energy production.
Oh, really?
That's simply not true.
Oh, really? Really? Is that the case? That is such a lie, actually, because what did President Biden do right the very first day he came into office? He shut down the expansion of the XL pipeline,
yes.
Right? You can be for or against it, but he's lying to you on that regard. What else did he do? He also, President Biden, when he came in, basically said, we are not going to expand drilling. We're not going to expand permitting. And a few days before all of this actually happened, I thought it was really weird. A few days before all of this invasion happened, they stopped down on additional permitting in the Gulf and other areas, as if like they knew something was coming. Like, why suddenly, right before this Russian issue, do you stop these permitting process for expansion of oil drilling and natural gas? Like, coincidence? Look, I've been around Washington long enough and covered these idiots long enough to know that I don't believe in coincidences. Like, out of the blue, this happens as we are nearing a crisis, and now we get to, without a doubt, go in and say we're not going to import any Russian oil. And who hurts in all of this? It's not Putin. Is Vladimir Putin going to be hurt in all of this?
No. Not necessarily.
No. Who's going to be hurt? It's the American people are going to be hurt. We have the highest gas prices we've ever had in the United States now. And it's going to go up even more now. And you're being told that this is your patriotic duty because this is going to hurt Putin. Like, how's this going to hurt Putin?
Right. I mean, keep in mind that gas prices were skyrocketing before this conflict. And you can blame U.S. inflation. You can blame U.S. monetary policy. You can blame the fact that we create money out of thin air, right?
How about, I got a question for you.
But this is more convenient.
Yeah.
To, like, you place the blame away from yourself. It's not our fault at all. It's global conflict, even though, yes, it already was happening. I mean, the chart was already like this, right? And then Ukrainian conflict is like at this cross section of time. Then it's like, it's about Ukraine. It's always been about Ukraine.
John Carlson
Pay no
in our chat
attention to
says,
the man behind the curtain.
John Carlson in our chat says gas in Moscow right now is $2.10 a gallon. Well, they're doing pretty well over there, right? But no, in Los Angeles, gas is over $7 a gallon and over $5 nationally, and it's going up again, and it's going to continue to go up because it's your patriotic duty. I got a question for you. Now, our money is going to be flowing to Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. It's going to be flowing into the Saudi regime once again. Why didn't we put sanctions on Saudi Arabia after they attacked us on 9/11?
No.
Because they buy our weapons.
Well, after they literally bombed us.
Cannot do.
We didn't put any sanctions against Saudi Arabia for their involvement in harboring terrorists and bombing us on 9/11. We didn't do anything.
Well, that's what's so hypocritical.
Ignore it. Just look the other way. You're not allowed to even talk about it.
This the hypocrisy still. It's like, you know, if I were a country, if I were Vladimir Putin myself, I'm putting myself in his shoes, and a country like the United States was putting weapons and stuff and arming literal Nazis in the country neighboring me, I would be concerned too, because look at our history. Look at what we do all over the world right now. We're drone striking. We're in like 9 different countries. We've got 1,000 bases all over the world. We are somebody that they should fear. And because we are the ones that will do this. We've dropped nuclear weapons. So if you compare us to Putin Putin is not, he's not trying to dominate the world. He's not bombing Syria. He's not bombing Yemen. He's not working with Saudi Arabia. He's not doing the things that we do. So how can we sit here and say it's okay for us to do this? But you know what, Putin, do not try to stop us from putting missiles facing your country.
Well, I'm not really down with having Vladimir Putin with, more power than the West. For me, they are equally undesirable. I don't.
But we don't know.
Like
Has he proven that he would be abuse that power? He hasn't proven it. We have.
Yes, I think that there are things in his track record that prove that, for instance, his treatment of Alexei Navalny. His treatment of even.
But what about our treatment of Assange and Snowden?
But no, I mean, we can go head to head, right? And so we're not going to. I'm saying we're choosing neither at this point.
Right, but
what
I'm
is
saying,
the female rock
if somebody
band that he imprisoned for
Pussycat Dolls, I think.
Yeah.
It's not the Pussycat.
Pussy Riot.
Oh yeah.
Pussy Riot. Right. Are we allowed to say that?
Well, we'll find out.
I just
It's
said
just in
that.
reference to cats, right?
That's why I wasn't going to say it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can. The fact that he's changed the laws to be elected in perpetuity. There's a lot of things that I find extremely
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if you
I don't
look
think.
if you look at
I'm
us,
more
though,
comfortable speaking on behalf of neither. Yes, I get it. The look at us situation,
way
but
worse.
I don't think.
like, I don't feel like we are way worse than Putin.
Are these our choices, though? I mean, can I speak as a feminist for a second and say I want to defend no patriarchy? Is that okay?
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're having to pick between these two imperialist governments, basically. Like,
Well, I'm just saying it's hypocrisy.
How
is
many
all.
more wars have we started than, okay, let's see. We started in Yemen, Syria. We went in Afghanistan, Iraq. How many has Russia started in the past few years? Okay, they wanted to annex Crimea, which arguably, maybe even they have a right to it. I mean, look, when Khrushchev basically handed over Crimea to the Ukrainians, he didn't even ask the people that live in Crimea if they wanted to be handed over to the Ukrainians, because so many ethnic Russians lived in Crimea, and they were like, wait a second, no, Khrushchev, no, we want to remain Russian. So there may be an argument to be had here that going back into Mother Russia is Crimea's natural state anyway. But hey, Apple Maps has now made sure that Crimea is redrawn so that it is a part of Ukraine. Just make no mistake about it if you look at Apple Maps, even though Russia believes that Crimea. Anyway, so yes, who's a worse country right now? Who for invading whom, setting up military bases wherever? We could be arguing that, oh my God, now Russia is aligning itself with China. These two evil people, these two evil countries. And yet we're continuing to do all of the bombing and militarization around the world that we like. So I don't know. Do two wrongs make a right?
Don't know. But I personally, if you
reason
ask
Putin's
me how
even
I
doing this is
feel,
because
I would
of
be
us.
happy to see both regimes see a tower moment, which is let them both
out your
implode, and then
astrology
let's
cards.
actually, the tower is like the
tarot, yeah.
Yes, in the tarot deck, right? It's the archetype of it's like the Tower of Babel. Things come crumbling and you create something new. I don't root for either side.
And so where are we leading? We're leading towards a nuclear war because we can't leave well enough alone. Like, if you really wanted to help the Ukrainian people, you really want to help end this conflict, then putting in Russian oil embargoes is not going to be the answer. Reliance on Americans, making sure what's in the best interest of Americans right now. Well, what's in the best interest of middle-class America is lowering gas prices. So maybe we could be opening up more drilling right now in the United States. Those permits that you have put your foot down on, Mr. President, maybe opening those up to some of these companies right now that actually could produce more American oil, but you're not going to do that. And I'm not in favor of
fossil fuels.
I'm not in favor of more fossil fuels, but we are in a crisis right now. And sometimes you have to do the lesser of two evils right now to fix the situation. But, Jen Psaki yesterday totally lied right in her press conference. I don't know if you saw that. I mean, she came out having to talk down to the reporters who were asking her about the president's comments, how they have not slowed down on permitting, how don't even remind me about the Keystone XL pipeline story. Ignore all of that. Don't even talk about that. And she had to come out with her facts yesterday. I love this. Watch this. She's going to tell us.
Let me give you the facts here, and I know that can be inconvenient, but I think they're important in this moment. To the contrary, we have been clear that in the short term, supply must keep up with the demand. We are, and here and around the world, will we make the shift to a secure, clean energy future. We are one of the largest producers with a strong domestic oil and gas industry. We have actually produced more oil. It is at record numbers, and we will continue to produce more oil. There are 9,000 approved drilling permits that are not being used.
Oh, that's interesting on the drilling permits thing. So I did some reading on this morning because I was like, what? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Like these approved drilling permits. Well, it turns out that these approved drilling permits are on areas where there's no oil. So it's like, here, I'm going to approve an oil permit for you to go drill oil here.
Cool.
But guess what? There's no oil here.
That's okay.
But why aren't you drilling? Why aren't you drilling in this oil permit land that I just gave you?
I don't know. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you.
There's no oil there, so you can't drill anything in it. No wonder you're not using the permit, because they've done their surveying they use their equipment to find out if there's oil, and it turns out there's not oil where these permits are approved. So I just love these politicians. It's amazing. And by the way, did you hear the rumors? I know we were talking about this on the show, that they're thinking about she could replace Rachel Maddow when Rachel Maddow retires on MSNBC. Doesn't surprise me at all. But we all have to do our part. David, you mentioned the Stephen Colbert the other night, and I wanted to pull this up. This is Stephen Colbert talking about, like, we all have to do our part right now. You know, I love when rich people tell us how we have to make sacrifices. Here's Stephen Colbert, who I've lost so much respect for over the past few years. I used to love the guy back when he was on Daily Show. I really can't stand him now. Watch.
Today, the average gas price in America hit an all-time record high of over $4 per gallon. Okay, that stings, but a clean conscience is worth $1 or $2. I'm willing to pay.
Oh, so clean that we buy it from Venezuela. Okay, cool.
You have a clean conscience now?
I feel so much better now.
Now you got your Saudi oil, Stephen. You got your Saudi oil. The same people.
That feels better.
The regime that harbored terrorists and that attacked us on 9/11. You're okay with it. You've got a clean conscience on that?
Right.
And I'm surprised people clapped. Like, maybe the clap light came on.
All. I mean, they know what they're seeing. You know,
it's a laugh machine, though. You could just push a button. We have one of those, don't we? Put on our laugh machine, and I'll tell you.
We don't.
I'll tell you a funny joke.
How's that?
So
I'll just do that.
I was saying in the when we were in the pre-show, I kind of mentioned it, but one of the things with the oil prices is the American oil producers, it was actually shareholders that stifled the drilling and the stockpiling, because they thought that the oil companies were being irresponsible in releasing so much oil because the share prices were going down. So it was stockholders. So that's why the gas prices started to spike before all of this happened, was because it was shareholders saying, you're not making us enough money. So it was actually corporate greed that's driving it up, or at least started the whole thing. So now, it's not as simple as Biden can just oh no, we're going to fix this, because he has no control over those shareholders.
Yes, just like food supplies, when we are told that we might have shortages of food, it has really nothing to do with supply of food. The world makes more than enough food for the amount of humans. The problem is waste and supply chain. We don't ship that to where people are hungry, and where people are not hungry, we have an abundance and we throw it away.
Yeah. Well, good news, though. I mean, in all of this conflict, I know everyone at home has been wondering, well, how are we going to solve this? Well, we just, especially what's going on in Poland and these jets and the gas prices. Well, we are now they're sending in Kamala Harris.
Okay.
So this just updates just a few minutes ago. Kamala Harris is heading to Poland now.
Oh, thank goodness it's over.
Amid the turbulence. Yeah, she's going to help with all of these jets now. So these NATO jets that we're sending there to kind of elevate this conflict, Kamala Harris is going in there. And if you need a reminder of how Kamala likes to, explain, she's so great at explaining what's going on in that region. Just a reminder on what's going on in Ukraine. If you tuned in late, let Kamala explain it to you.
Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Thank you, Kamala.
She's going to go tell that to their faces.
Thank you.
It's the explain like I'm 5 version.
Yeah, always good to have Kamala explain it. We should probably play that like once a week, just so we can get into the nuance of what's actually happening.
Well, and that was only the audio. It didn't show the video where she was circling the countries with crayon.
This country big, this one small. That big one going there, that's
Well,
bad.
to be fair, he was asking, like, give me the dumbed down version. He's like,
That's
know.
but that's not even the dumbed down version.
That's
like
not even. Oh my God! Like my 5-year-old could explain with more gravitas and nuance than what she just did. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, we have a membership program. For the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can support independent journalism just by going to morninginvest.com/join.
You get access to exclusive videos, plus the ability to join and chat with us live. We really appreciate your subscription, and you are supporting independent journalism.